What's going on, guys? So today we're going to be covering another installment of Shikamaru's Shinden Morning Clouds, which is a Naruto light novel that is set in the Boruto era between the events of the aftermath of the Versus Momoshiki arc, and it continues all the way past the end of the Mujina Bandits arc and just before the Vessel arc of the Boruto manga. So if you're new here and you stumbled across this video by accident, you have no idea what's going on, I got you, fam. So go to the homepage of the YouTube channel, scroll down to the Naruto novels section, look for the Naruto novels that are set in the Boruto era, and you will see a playlist that says Shikamaru Shinden Morning Clouds. Now, it won't be here as of this recording because these videos are not on the channel yet. They're being recorded in advance. But I will say that's where you'll find all of the videos in this playlist. You can get caught up and you can enjoy the story with everybody else who's here. With that being said, we're just going to jump right into this part of the story. So what I like about this part of Shikamaru Shinden Morning Clouds right here is that we get the oh so important scene of Shikamaru and Sasuke talking about how they support Naruto from the shadows, and Sasuke pretty much acknowledges Shikamaru as being the second Shadow Hokage for the Hidden Leaf Village. So everybody likes to call Sasuke the Shadow Hokage, and it makes a lot of sense. He does all of the dirty work that Naruto really can't do. Sasuke goes to those Otsutsuki dimensions. He's looking for information on the clan. He's handling other things around the ninja world, and he's got free reign to where he can go in and out of the ninja villages without any type of paperwork and clearance, because it is understood if Sasuke's in your village, he's looking for something that is Otsutsuki clan related. That's why during the time slip arc, when Sasuke goes to the Hidden Sand Village, when he's in that area, there's no paperwork or problems because Gar knows that Sasuke is looking for something Otsutsuki related. So the reason why this is so important is that the whole time all of this chaos has gone on, so the events of the 5 Kage summit and the demands that are being made, Sasuke's been in the village and Sasuke's been watching things from the shadows. Now, the Sasuke Shinden light novel, which I've already covered here on the channel, part of that novel takes place when some of these events are going on. And so it would make sense that Sasuke knows a little bit about what's going on, but we also find out in this chapter, in this particular part of the novel, that Sasuke, because of his travels, after everything wraps up, Sasuke has seen that Shikamaru has Anbu inside the Stone Village. He's aware of what's going on with the Stone Village and the different things that are going on there. And he's given Shikamaru all kinds of compliments. And as this is going on, Shikamaru has a moment to where he kind of is wiping the sweat from his forehead because Sasuke catches Shikamaru when Shikamaru's been training. And Shikamaru, for a moment, recalls how when Sasuke left the Hidden Leaf Village, he was looking how Naruto was doing everything he could to kind of bring him back. And Shikamaru was just like, well, he's a rogue ninja. He's eventually going to end up in the bingo book. It is what it is. If we can bring him back, that's cool. But if not, justice has to be carried out. And that's the stance that Shikamaru took when Danzo became Hokage for a brief period, where he was basically saying, we have to do what's necessary, and I'll give the news to Sakura if need be. Well, it's the same thing here, to where he's recalling those moments and recalling how he didn't particularly care about Sasuke at any point before Sasuke helped save the ninja world. But once that happened, his whole perspective of Sasuke changed. Well, what we get here is that after they have their back and forth and they take little digs at Naruto, it's just little lighthearted, playful jabs, like with Shikamaru telling Sasuke, hey, you're pretty smart. And Shikamaru's like, well, I'm not a big brain genius like you, but when compared to Naruto, I guess anybody looks like a genius. So it's kind of like you got two friends sharing a cigarette, smoking, laughing, yucking it up, however you want to put it. Well, the next thing that happens here is that Shikamaru, after he finishes wiping all the sweat on his forehead, Shikamaru takes out a cigarette. He's looking around for his lighter, and that's when Sasuke uses his Chidori in order to light up the cigarette. And they have a very real conversation about the importance of this upcoming Continental Summit, and also why both of them are needed for Naruto to be successful as Hokage, and how without them acting in the shadows, Naruto's Hokage could never get everything done. And in my opinion, that's them saying that Naruto kind of falls short in his effort to be Hokage, much in the same way the heroes in Sarutobi did, where there are some things that where Naruto's kind-hearted nature would ultimately be his downfall. And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and read you the selected passages from the novel. Then I'm going to come back to you guys my thoughts, because this is a very, very cool scene right here. I've been waiting to talk about this ever since I started covering this novel. So with that being said, It's here I'm going to begin quoting. And you'll be fine with that, Sasuke asked. You look to me like you want a world of peace, even more than Naruto does. Sasuke continued. I don't know, Shikamaru thought. But it was true that he was absolutely convinced that they could not let the world be dragged into that spiral of sadness once again. He slowly pulled a cigarette out of his pocket and brought it to his lips. A bolt of lightning raced across the tip. Sasuke, his lightning-generated technique. 1,000 birds chirping. Quite a fancy lighter there, Shikamaru remarked. Special, just for the day. Smoke began to drift up from the cigarette. After inhaling deeply, he let out his words together with the smoke. Naruto's this village's son. He wants peace more than anyone, Shikamaru said. But he can let his feelings get ahead of him, Sasuke noted. It's because you're doing the dirty work behind the scenes that he can hope for this peace. Sasuke continued. I can go as deep into the darkness as I need to, so long as he keeps shining, Shikamaru told him. Eyes lowered, Sasuke smiled slightly. Head still hanging, he opened his mouth almost shyly. You're not the only one who's supporting Naruto, Sasuke said. He's the Hokage. He can't leave Konoha. He can shine because you're fighting for him outside, Shikamaru said. And by his side, you sink into the shadows so he can be that light. Sasuke said, we really are alike, Shikamaru thought. Having smoked the cigarette down to the filter, he put it out and tossed the butt into his portable ashtray. Closed the lid and stretched. It really helps to hear you say that, just knowing someone's got my back. I can breathe a little bit easier while I fight this. It's the same for me, Sasuke said. Shikamaru felt like he understood Sasuke for the first time. End quote. Now, what I like right here is that you have to kind of look at some of the context that happened a little before this. So as they talk about the Continental Summit and they talk about the possibility that Kurotsuki is going to be forced by her feudal lord to act out against the treaty that they have going on with the five great nations. Shikamaru talks about the fact that they really needed Sasuke there because Sasuke has a destructive power that is going to be needed to force everyone to listen to them, because Konoha was going to have to intervene, and he directly acknowledges Sasuke as being somebody who has power that rivals Naruto. Not saying that they're equals, not saying that one's stronger than the other, only that Sasuke's power rivals Naruto's. And earlier on in this novel, Kurotsuki, the Tsuchi Kage, she has a moment where she basically says that Naruto and Sasuke are so powerful that they could destroy the entire continent if they chose to. And I know the power scalers are so upset at this point. They're like, yo, they're clearly multiversal. They're clearly gonna slap the sun from one side of the universe to the other multiverse. I totally get it. Do your thing, people. Number crunch, have fun in the comment section. But essentially what's being said right here is that Shikamaru acknowledges that they can only go so far with the Konoha shinobi that they have. They're clearly a peg above everybody else, but if they want to force people to listen, if it ever gets to that point, they're gonna need Sasuke, and it makes sense. Who in their right mind is going to look up at Sasuke's perfect Susanoo, see those swords drawn, and say, yeah, I'm gonna stick my middle finger up at this Uchiha, and I'm gonna look at him in his good eye, and I'm gonna see what this dude think he really want to smoke with me about. Nobody's gonna do that. You're gonna listen to Sasuke if Sasuke demands your attention. And so that right there is that sign right there to where we're seeing the darker side. He has to allow Sasuke to be the one who potentially comes out of the shadows and steps out into the light and onto the front lines. That way Naruto is not put into a position where Naruto has to show a sign of force and show his power and try and bring about peace through fear, because that's not something that Naruto embodies. Naruto wants to maintain a level of peace that is freely entered into, and so Sasuke has to be the one that's the bad guy for this. So I really like this right here. This says a lot about their relationship, and I like that line where Sasuke says that, you know, Naruto's able to shine because you're willing to sink into the shadows in order to help support them from the side. So I love those little small connective tissues that you get right there. So my question to you guys is, between Naruto and Shikamaru, which one do you believe does the most to support Naruto from the shadows? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.